my channel again, or welcome if you are new. If you are new, please be sure to subscribe, and today's video is going to be my 8-week update. So I am 9 weeks today. I start a new week on a Thursday, and I thought I would just let you know what has been happening in the past week or so. So the main thing that obviously happened this week was that I had my first midwife appointment. That was yesterday, and I met my midwife, who should be my midwife throughout the whole pregnancy. She was really nice, I really liked her, and she was really sort of attentive and asked a lot of questions about my infertility and my previous miscarriages and things, which made me feel a lot better, as I felt like she really understood where I was coming from and really seemed to get why I have so much anxiety around this pregnancy. She was really supportive, and it was a really good appointment. It was a really scary appointment. I've been so excited for this appointment for so long, but it was a really scary appointment. I don't know why. I felt really nervous before it. I think obviously it's been about 2 weeks since I had a scan now. It was well, it was last Monday, so it's been a week and a half, it feels like 2 weeks since I had a scan, and I feel like, again, because I don't have many symptoms, I feel like I don't know what's happening. So it was really scary for me to, she was like, we booked in the 16-week appointment for May, and for me it felt really scary booking in that 16-week appointment when I don't particularly feel pregnant. I have moments, don't get me wrong, but on the whole, I just don't particularly feel overly pregnant. I think that is due to the kind of the lack of sickness. I don't feel that tired. Like, I'm trying to convince myself that I do, and I do get kind of waves of being like, oh, I'm really tired, but I just don't on the whole, and it is really making me very nervous. I've got this scan booked in tomorrow at the early pregnancy unit. And I've kind of promised myself, if everything is looking fine at this scan tomorrow, I really need to chill out, because I'm going to make myself ill. Like, I feel that anxious, and I don't want to. I feel like I'm always like complaining, and please don't think I'm complaining, because this pregnancy is everything I've wanted for so long, you all know that. But I just feel so anxious and so on edge and so scared of something going wrong that I'm really kind of struggling to reason with myself logically. So I have promised myself that if this scan is okay tomorrow, I'm really gonna make a conscious effort to calm down and to reason with myself. If I've got to, you know, over 9 weeks and a scan is looking fine and I don't have any symptoms at that point, or like any, you know, really dramatic symptoms at that point, maybe that's just how this pregnancy is going to be for me. And you know, people do have it like that. As I said, my mum had 0 symptoms with me. She said if she hadn't have been trying, she would not have known she was pregnant. And maybe that's just how it is for me. And on one hand, I feel really lucky if everything is fine, because who wants to feel like crap? But then on the other hand, I just wish I felt more pregnant, because I really think it would reassure me and make me feel like things are okay. On the other hand, I keep trying to remind myself as well, I'm going off on a major rambly tangent here, but I keep trying to remind myself I'm having these artificial HCG hormone booster injections every week. So whether the baby is okay or not, I am getting those hormones. Those hormones are there, so they would be having whatever effect on me they would have if the baby was fine, if that makes sense. So if I was going to have morning sickness, I would have morning sickness whether the baby was okay or not, because I'm getting those hormones. So I'm trying to look at it that way. I need to stop getting so hung up on the whole sickness thing, because I know not everyone has it, but I just expected to feel more pregnant, and on the whole I don't. I'm sick of sitting there squeezing my own boobs 50 times a day to see if they still feel sore, and then at times they don't feel sore at all, and I freak out and I convince myself it's all over and I just need to chill out. So this has been the longest ramble to basically just say, yesterday I had my booking an appointment and the midwife was really nice, but I've been feeling really anxious this week. I can't pretend I haven't, because yeah, I have been feeling really anxious. I think because of 2 weeks prior I had consecutive scans, and then since having those scans this is the longest I've gone without one. And I know people, like, I know that probably sounds ridiculous because people get to 12 weeks, they get to their 12-week scan and they've never had a scan, and I'm lucky that by that point I will have had at least 4, which is really, you know, incredibly lucky, and I do know that. But I just don't know how people do it. Like, I wish I was being scanned every single week. I think that's the only thing that would give me any kind of peace of mind, and yet I say that and it probably wouldn't, because with my scans I feel comforted for when I'm in that scan. I can see the baby's heartbeat there, but an hour later I'm thinking, well, something could have gone wrong in the last hour. And I know that sounds ridiculous, and your chance of miscarriage decreases when you've seen a heartbeat, but it decreases, it doesn't disappear completely, and that fear for me is just so strong, and I wish it wasn't. People are probably sick of hearing it, and I'm really conscious that I don't want to irritate people, but these videos are meant to be an honest reflection on how I'm finding pregnancy after miscarriage and after infertility, and I'm finding it incredibly scary. I'm hoping that if I get to that 12-week point, something psychologically will click and I'll feel better. I know a lot of people say, oh, I got past 12 weeks and I felt a lot better, and I'm really, really hoping that's the case, but I can't tell you how, like, scary I'm finding it, and every milestone I get to I'm so happy to have got to it because I've not got to it before, but then I feel like if it all gets taken away, so much more is being taken away, and I don't know if I'm strong enough to cope with it again. Yeah, I'm sorry this all sounds so negative, because I feel like I need to reiterate, obviously I want this more than anything in the world, and I don't want people to think I'm being ungrateful. I really don't want it to come across that way, but it's just scary. So yeah, long and rambly rant. Basically, anxiety levels are high this week, and really hoping I can calm down if the scan is okay tomorrow. So please cross your fingers that everything is looking fine tomorrow, because otherwise I don't know how this is all going to go, to be honest. So anxiety aside, which has probably been my biggest symptom, it's not really a symptom, but my biggest kind of thing this week, one thing she did ask me at the booking appointment yesterday, which I hadn't really prepared myself for, I don't know why I didn't think they would ask that this early, was whether we wanted the screening for like Down syndrome and other things at our 12-week scan, and I hadn't thought about it really. I didn't really know. I said no, and now I'm like, should I have said yes? Obviously, if anything came back, I would still have this baby. There is no two ways about that, so it wouldn't be making that sort of decision. There would be no way I would not keep the baby, so that part's irrelevant. So for me, I kind of thought, I'm stressed enough with this pregnancy. I don't need to add any more stress on by potentially finding I could be high risk. High risk doesn't mean your baby definitely has one of those syndromes anyway, so I just thought, is it just adding extra stress on that I really don't need and probably can't cope with that well? So I went for no, but now I'm thinking, should I have, just so I am a bit more aware, so I'm a bit more prepared? But I don't think anything can really prepare you for something like that, so I said no anyway. But I'd love to know what you guys would do if you are pregnant or planning on being pregnant in the future. Would you have those screenings? And if you have been pregnant and have children, did you have them? Did you find them helpful? I mean, I can still change my mind, but I did say no to the screenings. I'd love to know what you guys think about that. I will also quickly go through the symptoms I have had this week. One thing I've definitely noticed this week is dry skin. I have really oily skin. As you guys know, I've got PCOS and I have very typical PCOS skin. I get really, really oily skin. I get quite hormonal breakouts, especially around my chin and sometimes across my forehead. And in that sense, I have very kind of stereotypical PCOS skin. But this week, my skin has been really dry, still a little bit oily, but like flaky, dry skin, like particularly across my nose and across my forehead, which is so unlike me. I never get dry skin really unless I get an eczema flare up, but this doesn't feel like eczema, it's just dry skin. And also, a bit gross, but I've had dandruff the past week and I never get dandruff either, like, so I don't know what that means. Is that normal? Have you guys experienced kind of dry skin, dandruff with pregnancy? It doesn't really bother me, but it's just not overly pleasant. It doesn't make you feel very nice. But yeah, that's fine. That's a new one this week. Again, no sickness, not feeling overly tired. I feel like I've slept better this week than I did the previous weeks, which everything panics me. I'm thinking, well, why am I sleeping better? I don't know. Everything in my brain just seems to be not working logically at the moment. I have still been having some weird dreams. The weirdest dream I had, which was absolutely bizarre, was I had a dream the other night that was so boring that in my dream I was saying, oh my god, this is so boring, I hope I wake up soon, which I've never experienced before, but it was dull and it was really weird. And I literally woke up bored, and I was like, this is really weird, I've never experienced this before. So there have still been some kind of weird dreams going on, and that's probably it for this week, to be honest. I think until I've had this scan tomorrow, I don't have a massive update, because kind of for me this whole week has been focused on this scan tomorrow. So yeah, that will be in next week's update, hopefully. I can tell you that it went well. I really, really, really hope so. Please cross your fingers that my scan goes well tomorrow morning. And that's it this week. I will show you the bump. Again, not a whole lot of bump going on. What I have decided I'm going to do, because I wear baggy stuff all the time. I wear baggy dresses, I wear baggy jumpers, everything I buy is about 4 sizes too big for me. Like, I don't do fitted clothing at all, that's just so not my style. But I am going to Primark this week, I think. So I think I'm going to buy like just a plain strappy top, like a fitted one, so I can do these bump updates and you can actually see, because I'll show you this week, but again, I'm wearing a baggy jumper and you won't be able to tell, and I don't have a bump anyway, so yeah. I will leave it at that, guys. I hope you're all having a really good week, and again, please cross your fingers for me tomorrow morning that the scan's looking okay. Sorry if I've sucked the life out of you with this update. I know it's not been happy and positive, but early pregnancy after miscarriage and infertility is really, really bloody scary, and this is just how I'm feeling. If I didn't say this, I wouldn't be being true and there would be no point in me doing these updates. So yeah, I will leave it at that. Hope you're all having a really good week, and I will see you next week. Bye guys. So don't mind me, I've definitely got pyjama bottoms on, but yeah, this is the belly for 9 weeks today. I'll try and pull this a bit tighter, but really there is not a whole lot to see.